I received an email at 11:15 a.m. from the application portal. Hi guys, it is Thursday, February 17th. I recently started teaching my class at Yale again. The class that I teach is on Thursdays, so normally I'll take the Metro North up to New Haven. And today, as I was getting ready to go and just going out the door and trying to make my train, I received an email basically saying that my decision is available. I think this is the decision. But of course, I was about to head to class, so I did not want to check on the train. I didn't want to check in public, on campus at Yale. That's like even weirder. So I just swiped away the notification and was like, I guess I'm just gonna wait until after I go, do my class, commute back, do work, all of that. And this whole entire time, because I am still not a very zen, not anxious person, I obsessively searched on Twitter just Yale PhD or Yale Law PhD. My thinking was that if a couple people, one person even tweeted about it, then that means I probably didn't get an offer. Additionally, on the train ride back home, I was really trying to prepare myself for the worst case scenario, getting accepted somewhere that is not actually a good fit for you. So spent some time on the train reading up about Catharine MacKinnon, who, if you don't know her, is just one of the most amazing, most groundbreaking feminist legal scholars. Here are some quotes from a New York Times article about her finally being offered a tenure track position at a law school. Ms. MacKinnon, 41 years old, has taught at 7 law schools in the last 10 years. Ms. MacKinnon said she had never sought tenure before and had not been convinced that a life in legal academia could allow her to do all the things she wanted to do. I love that. Legal academia is still a very conservative environment. Academia in general can be a very conservative environment. I am such a people pleaser. I've never met a ladder that I didn't love to climb. So I have to remind myself, like Catharine MacKinnon, just because something is available, just because something is hard, something is an achievement, does not mean that you want it, and it does not mean that it is right for you. I think there are very well some things that I want to do with my life that may be at odds with legal academia, that academics, and especially legal academics, would say that I bring dishonor to the profession, dishonor to my family, because this gets pretty good. The very process of considering her, Ms. MacKinnon, as a teaching candidate has led to bruising battles among the tenured faculty at some of the schools where she has taught. The decision to offer her a visiting faculty slot at Yale, for example, was preceded by months of debate, a number of confidential memorandums about the merits of her work, and 2 lengthy meetings that polarized the faculty. In one particularly harsh memorandum, Professor Jeffrey Hazard wrote that it was not clear that she has genuine comprehension of law. The memorandum said, "There are degrees of ignorance, or worse, that may be outweighed by brilliance, but by any canons of academic responsibility, Ms. MacKinnon seems to have gone beyond them." I'm trying to channel a lot of the most groundbreaking scholars before me who are women or who are a little bit untraditional when compared to the ivory tower of legal academia. No matter what happens, the goal is to be myself and to bring what I want to bring to the table, and if they don't want it, then that's okay. I will find a way, and there are people out there who want what I have to bring. All right. Admissions portal, let's go. Logging in, status updates were posted today, February 17th. Oh no. Oh no. Nope, I did not get in.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Like I said, Catharine MacKinnon.
Give you a hug.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for trying though, baby.
Thanks.
I'm really sorry though, baby.
It's okay. We spent a lot of time on this.
I know. It was really good though, and it crystallized your ideas, I think. I think it was a helpful exercise.
Yeah, definitely. guess I'll just have to figure out what next. I think I'm just mostly sad that so many people, like my recommenders, totally believed in me, and now I'm gonna have to tell them that I did not get in, which is always worse.
But they still believe in you, B.
Yeah. So I ate some dinner and I'm now just sitting down in bed editing a video, and that's mostly it. I'm trying to take my mind off of things. I think this was probably for the best, but getting rejected always kind of sucks. So I'm just gonna focus on editing this video a little, play around more. I think one of the best things about enjoying some creative pursuits is that it does help keep my mind off of things. So I will debrief tomorrow about all of this with you guys. Okay, I lied. It took me way more than a day to feel ready to talk about this. In fact, it took me way more than a couple weeks to feel ready to talk about this. I've been trying to parse through all of my emotions while transitioning from the firm, and it's honestly taken a lot of time. Part of me feels like I delayed thinking about this rejection by just focusing on work and focusing on transitioning from work. Now that I have had time to sit with myself and my emotions, I've distilled this discombobulated mess of emotions into 3 main feelings: shame, ex-post regret, which is basically feeling stupid, and embarrassment. The shame part is what you would expect: berating myself for not getting in, getting rejected, thinking to myself that this means that I'm not good enough. It's an internal feeling that's due to the fact that for so much of my life, a lot of my self-worth has been tied to academic validators, getting straight A's, school admissions, just praise from academic authorities. I feel shame because I associate rejections with being bad morally. Like, because I didn't get in, I am now morally deemed to be a bad person. Is this rational? No, but I see this type of moral equivalencies made throughout my life all the time, and I've really internalized that. For example, someone graduated valedictorian, so they must have worked hard and studied hard, and those are morally good characteristics. On the other hand, someone did terribly in school, which must mean that they are lazy, which is a moral failing. But these moral equivalencies don't make sense. The valedictorian, even if they did study hard and work hard, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily a good person. And for all we know, they may not have studied hard at all. Maybe they cheated. Maybe they were just smart but also lazy, which isn't uncommon in high school. My mom had this saying in Chinese that she would say to me all the time in high school. 近朱者赤, 近墨者黑. It basically means that you are the company that you keep. You're affected and your personality is impacted by who you hang out with. While the saying isn't untrue, you certainly are impacted by the people that you hang out with. It overlooks the fact that there are good qualities in everyone. My mom would say this phrase to me in the context of me wanting to join my high school dance team. And her argument for me not joining was that the members of the high school dance team would go on to state schools for college. And in her view, if I joined the dance team, I would also go to a state school for college. The funny thing is, after a lot of arguing, I did end up joining the dance team, and yes, while a lot of them did go on to state schools for colleges, they also worked really hard. We had 6 a.m. practices during summer break. They were also way more socially comfortable than I was at the time in my little AP classes enclave. They weren't dumb or lazy or any of that. They just didn't take a bunch of AP classes and go to Harvard, which is totally okay. While I certainly don't think that where you go to school or how you did academically is a reflection of your moral character, these little moral equivalencies that I saw growing up impacted my own self-judgment. So the fact that I got rejected, I was not accepted, it's difficult to get over that first instinct, which is just, wow, I'm so stupid. Wow, I'm so dumb. Wow, I'm a lazy, bad person. One of my followers tagged me in a TikTok video by a woman. Her handle is psychiatrist mom. Her account so far is awesome. I highly recommend that you follow her on TikTok. She goes through how you should actually think about wait lists and rejections. She highlights that there is a conflation of what we do with our identity and moral worth in a way that I hadn't really thought about before, but now that she's pointed it out, I see it everywhere in our linguistics. When I say I got rejected, that says something about me. Therefore, by extension, it's implied that I wasn't enough, I didn't do well enough, there was some failing on my part. The point of her TikTok was that we should actually start using different framing for these situations. It's your application that got rejected, your application that got waitlisted, not you as a person. It's not your worth on the line here. I'm trying to be better about not conflating my professional achievements or my academic accomplishments with me, who I am, but it's really, really difficult when your entire life that is what I've done. I'm gonna start trying to use this alternative language, and instead of saying that I got rejected, my application got rejected and it didn't work out for my application. And it doesn't say anything about me or my worth. The second emotion, ex post regret, is basically when I kick myself for being stupid. I don't know if anyone else feels this, but feeling stupid is my least favorite feeling in the world. I berate myself for both trying in the first place and also thinking when I was trying that I had a shot at all. I go through in my head all these things that I didn't have that would have made my application classically stronger. Things like clerkships, law review, getting way better grades instead of doing what I did, which was have fun and take interesting classes. Even though at the time I made these conscious, intentional decisions to not pursue these other accolades. And it's not just with academics. I do this with dating too. I would be so focused on where the date was ultimately heading. Were we gonna be together forever, or would this relationship end and I would think that it was a waste of time? That I never actually enjoyed the process of dating much. After anything ended, I would just berate myself for having wasted time. Basically, I have this issue where I view everything that doesn't work out as a waste of time. But this perspective is really, really toxic. It stopped me from doing things that I really enjoyed, like dance auditions. Even though dance auditions are stressful, you still get to dance and learn choreography during the audition. But the fear of the result, it always paralyzed me from actually wanting to go to auditions in the first place. It stopped me from being vulnerable on dates and actually just enjoying the process of getting to know someone. Mostly it stops me from being able to be present and in the moment and just enjoying what's happening because I am already always thinking about how it's going to end. That's sad. That's no way to live a life. Lately, I've been trying to reframe this ex post regret. Everything is worth a shot, and things can be worth a shot even if you don't know how it's going to turn out, and even if it doesn't turn out the way that you'd hoped. Yes, I didn't get into the PhD program, but I also was forced to really deeply think and develop my research question and research agenda, and that's valuable. Thinking deeply and clearly about a research plan is a really valuable process. Because I've done that, because I went through the process of applying for the PhD, I'm able to take my research plan and agenda and use that in ways going forward as I figure out how to work on this idea. And the third emotion, embarrassment. Embarrassment is honestly the toughest to deal with in my opinion. Having to write to my recommenders and the other people who helped me throughout the process, such as the current PhD candidates, and tell them that the time that they spent talking to me, the time that they spent writing for me didn't exactly pan out is, well, embarrassing. This is tied to that first feeling, shame. I worry that when I tell them that my application wasn't accepted, that they'll think lesser of me, that they will think that I'm lazy or not good enough or not smart enough, just like I judged myself initially when my application was rejected. But we're rarely ever judging others in the same way that we judge ourselves. When I wrote my recommenders and the other PhD candidates about the status of my application, they were actually really nice, of course, because they're really nice people. And not only that, but they really encouraged me to pursue my research in whatever way I could and offered to be a sounding board in case I ever needed to bounce around ideas with someone. I think in today's era of branding and social media and LinkedIn, there's this feeling all the time that other people have never gotten rejected, that other people have always had successful applications, that it's worked out for everyone all the time, when that's really just statistically impossible. I think we forget that for our professors, for the other people that we talk to in our lives, they also have likely had to experience applications getting rejected in a magnitude that isn't necessarily seen on their website bio, that isn't necessarily seen when you place all their accolades right next to them. This rejection of my application, though, prompted me to think about, is this program even what I really wanted to do? I definitely want to pursue my research and develop the idea for my book and then write the book, but I'm not actually 100% convinced that this needed to happen within the structures of a PhD program. I did want the institutional affiliations and the ability to collaborate with other university researchers resources such as the psychology department, and just to have a community to bounce ideas off of. But I am also cognizant that I do not necessarily need to be in a PhD program to have all of that. In some way, I think that going back to school was just a safety blanket for me. Because school and academics were always a safe space for me growing up, whenever I don't know what to do about something in life, my first instinct is, well, maybe just go back to school. That's a safe environment. As a result, perhaps more jarring than the rejection of my application itself was actually this feeling of getting my safety blanket ripped away from me. When people ask me what I'm doing now that I've quit Big Law, I really wanted the safety of telling them, oh, I'm going back to school. Instead, I have to face the real big unknown of what I'm about to embark on and try to do this one non-traditional step at a time.